How you guys doing today? This is a very important interview, a very helpful interview. Once again, a lot of you know me. I'm Carl Douglas. I run the company and the show called Home Based Business Review with me, your truly. But I got a special guest by popular demand. We have Daniel Kump here. And a lot of you asked questions about Daniel. How soon can we get him back on our show? Well, we got him for you. High demand. But before we get started here, Daniel, I want to make sure everybody get a piece of paper and pencil because we're going to be covering some marketing tips today because that is the problem. We're going to help these people get out of pain. So, without further ado, Daniel, thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me here. It's always fun to be here on the program.
Yes, yes. Well, Daniel, like I said, a lot of people are wanting to know, they're trying the home based business venture, but they're struggling with marketing and they want to know how can we get better at marketing. So this is what we're going to cover. So Daniel, I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor. First, before we start, tell me a little bit about your problems and how you was able to overcome it. And then after that, we'll come back. Okay?
Well, when I got started, I initially started back in 2016, and I knew nothing about the world of online marketing, social media marketing, email marketing, none of those things. And I just knew that there were possibilities. That's basically what I was going on. I knew there were possibilities, and I knew anybody could do this sort of thing. But I just had to go figure it out. And the very first thing I'm going to do here is I want to give you a line. You can write this down, make a note of this, because this is incredibly important. And this really sets the tone for the entire interview here. And this could ultimately set the tone for your financial future. And that is, everybody starts at zero. It's up to you if you want to stay there. And I found that over the years, as I got going, as I started to create success, I started to build a social following, started to build an email list. I would occasionally have some people reach out in a negative way and say, oh, must be nice. Or, you have a big following. And it's like, yeah, well, I started at zero. Everybody starts at zero. It's up to you if you want to stay there. So what I did back in 2016 is I continued to invest in myself. And it took me a good 12 plus months before I really started making any sort of consistent sales because I had no social following. I had no email list. I didn't know how to get people on my email list. I didn't know how to build a brand. I didn't know how to create content, but I started to slowly learn all of those things by investing into myself, into my mindset, my attitude, those two specific things. And I learned a very key and critical acronym, which I've shared here on this program before, but it's so critical, I have to mention it again. And that is ILT, Invest, Learn, Teach. When I got started back in 2016, for the first 6 months, I was one of those people that was just throwing the mud up against the wall and hoping that it stuck. And when I finally learned the acronym ILT, I started applying that every single day. And that's when the results started to slowly come in. And then they started to build and compound based on what I was doing. So ILT, you invest, learn, teach. Invest your time, sometimes money. You learn something, and then you turn around and you teach that to other people. So I would invest into learning things on YouTube. I would invest into courses. So yes, I would pay money to learn courses, learn things in courses. I would buy books. I would buy books. I would read those books, and anything that I would learn. So I invested my time, sometimes money. I would learn things, and then I would turn around and I would teach that to other people. Whatever I was learning, I was teaching. So there's also some studies that will show you that you learn more when you teach. While you're teaching, it forces you to learn the subject or the topic that much more thoroughly so you can teach it more effectively. And that's how I began to build and grow. And then in 2017, after applying ILT for probably 6+ months, that's when I had my first real big breakthrough in my first 5-figure month. So I turned basically my YouTube channel into an educational channel where everything I was learning, I was posting about it. I was sharing content on Facebook. I was sharing content on YouTube. I was creating videos of everything that I learned, from how to do email marketing, how to create content on YouTube, how to rank your YouTube videos, The business that I was in at the time, I would go and I would create how-to videos on every single thing in the members area or driving traffic or literally anything I learned. I would create content around that, and I would share everything I did on YouTube. I was literally an open book, and I would share everything I did. And that's what drew people to me, is I was kind of the go-to guy in that particular niche, because I was sharing everything I did, and all people had to do was follow me, plug in, and do exactly what I was doing. So that acronym alone, ILT, jump started my online business career. And because of that, I've been able to teach tens of thousands of people for the last 7 years online. So, how did I, back to your original question, how did I get past some of those struggles? I started at zero. I figured a lot of things out on my own, trial and error. And then I started applying the number one thing that helped me get to where I am today, which I'm still doing today. It never stops. Like the journey, the journey never stops. You're always moving forward. I'm still doing ILT today. I learn things constantly every single day, and I turn around, I create pieces of content, whether it be in my team training site that I specifically have for my team, or the stuff that I put out on YouTube or on social media. The process is still there. It's just some of the names and the links and the faces may change, but the process is still exactly the same. So I hope that answered your question.
Yes, Daniel, it did. I got to say that, I've been knowing you now for many years, and everything that you do, everything you touch, turns to gold because of your system. It's a process that you do that
Mm-hmm.
works. And I truly have to say, I'm in awe at times when I see you bring in people and help them achieve their goals. You're a good listener. You point in the right direction. And I got to say, and a lot of you guys know me, you know that I don't bring anybody on my show unless I feel it can help you. So what Daniel is saying is crucial. Okay, it's very crucial, and I'm gonna let him talk some more because this is his time. And Daniel charged a lot of money for his time, and guess what? He's giving that information to you for free. Okay, so let's go back and Daniel, tell me. We talked about your success, but I believe, and I'm sure you believe, the struggle what made you find and see the light. Am I correct on that, Daniel?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'll always point it back to this. I believe in kind of like I guess we'll call it like an umbrella strategy. Everything falls under the umbrella and it all goes up to the top. And every single thing that you do in life or in business, your digital online business, can all circle back to like one or just two things. And I like to drill it down to really just one thing and be really finite and really, really specific. And this is what I teach on my team. This is what I talk about in my content, on my videos. And when you can circle it all the way back to one specific thing, like one finite drill down specific thing that you could be focused on each and every day, if you can do that, it's not a matter of if you're going to win, it's a matter of when you're going to win. And you can condense that when by investing more into what I'm going to talk about here. Some of the biggest struggles that people have, it doesn't come down to, and I'm sure we'll talk about more of this later, but it doesn't come down to what you're doing or what system or what company you're with, what product, what service, what online opportunity you're with. It's not the what, it's the who. Because people don't join systems, they don't join opportunities, they don't join names. Like no one runs out and says, I want to do Amway, or I want to do Mary Kay, or I want to do Avon. You join the person, you join, the team, you join individuals. And one of the ways that we've been able to be successful, Carl, kind of like you mentioned, like I wouldn't say that everything I touch turns to gold, but we've done really well over the years. And I say we, I mean me and my team, because we've had multiple different business opportunities, companies that have been tied in onto the back end of our system. And it doesn't matter what's there. The team is always successful because we have, things and people that we do every single day that just work. They're proven to work if you do them. So it's not what you join, it's who you join. But the number one struggle that most people have is their mindset. Drill it all the way back. So think of an umbrella right here, right at the top of the umbrella is your mindset and your attitude. Underneath all of that stuff is all the stuff that people worry about. What if I'm not successful? What if I don't have a big social following? I don't have an email list. I'm starting from zero. I don't know how to do all the techie stuff. I don't know how to create content, edit videos. What hashtags do I use? What's the best times to post? I don't know how to send an email. All this stuff seems complicated. All that other stuff falls under the umbrella. But when you drill it all back and go all the way back to the top, it all circles back to your mindset and your attitude. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have the right mindset, if you don't have the right attitude, switch it around. Like I said before, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Define your success. Now it's backwards. If you don't have the right mindset and the right attitude at the top of your umbrella, it's not a matter of if you're going to quit. It's just a matter of when you're going to quit. Because when you don't have the right mindset and attitude, over time, at some point, you're going to want to give up. You're going to want to throw in the towel. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to get aggravated. And then most likely, and I've seen this hundreds of thousands of times over the years, at some point, you're going to start pointing the finger away from yourself. You're going to blame your sponsor. You're going to blame the company. You're going to blame the system. You're going to blame something other than yourself. Oh, it's too complicated. Well, the unfortunate part for you is we live in the digital world, and you can learn anything you want in life right here. You can learn it if you want to. And remember this, write this down. If you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll create an excuse. That's the truth. Those are facts. So you can accept them or not, but it is reality and it is the truth. So if you actually really do want to learn how to do something, you'll figure it out. You'll find a way. If you don't, you'll just create the excuse and then you'll point blame, or, you could be the person sitting around the water cooler at work being like, oh, those things are scams. They don't work, blah, blah, blah. Congratulations, you're right. Or there's other people that are out there actually doing it that figured it out, and you were just too lazy to figure it out. Right. So
That is correct, Daniel. And I got to say that the key to what you're saying, you are answering your own question when you say, "Oh, well, I'll think about it," or "I'll do it later," or "I don't have the money." Those kind of, you are basically telling yourself
yep.
that you don't want it bad enough. And also, a lot of people understand that they go to people who are not qualified to basically give them advice, and they listen to them. And guess what?
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the biggest mistakes I would say to do. Ask yourself the question. Look at yourself to find out if you really want it bad enough.
Yep. So
Then the way you can go ahead, Daniel.
I'll circle back to that umbrella style logic of thinking is, if you want to figure out all of the techie stuff, if you want to figure out how to do it, if you want to figure out how not to quit, it all circles back to this one specific thing. So again, write this down, note it, whatever. Work on yourself harder than you do on your business. 99% of people have it backwards. They want to know when they get started, where's the easy button? What button can I push to become a millionaire overnight? What button can I push to become successful? And unfortunately, the elevator to success is broken. You have to take the stairs. So you need to work on yourself harder than you work on your business. So what do I mean by that? How can you do that? How can you start applying that into your life and business? It's the same thing that I did back in 2016. While I was doing ILT, I was still working a job. I was a full-time store manager at a very large home improvement retailer. If I said the name, you would know it. And every single day I invested into my mindset and my attitude. So when you think of the umbrella, at the very top is your mindset and your attitude. You need to dedicate time to your mindset and your attitude every single day. And the journey never stops. Even to this day, 7 years later, I still do personal development every single day. It's the first thing I do when I wake up, when I come here in the office at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. It's the very first thing that I do for at least 30 minutes to an hour. And that is how you develop the strength in your mindset and your attitude. You work harder on yourself than you do on your business. You listen to empowering audios, you read good books, you surround yourself with people that have what you want. So, you know how the phrase goes, if you hang around five broke people, you'll be the sixth, right? If you hang around five poor people, you'll be the sixth. So if you hang around five people, and it doesn't have to be like physically like the person standing next to you, it could be people that you listen to and take advice from online. Take advice from people that have what you want. Okay. That's who you take your advice from. You don't take your advice from, broke Uncle Phil, who's broke as a joke and telling you financial advice. Is that the person you want to take your financial advice from? Someone who doesn't have two nickels to rub together? Or would you take your financial advice from someone that has what you want, the lifestyle, the income, the success, whatever it is? I do the same thing. I take my advice from people that have way more than I have because they've proven it. They've demonstrated what it takes to get where they are. So every single day, you have to dedicate that time to investing into you, your mindset, your attitude. And if you do that, again, like I mentioned earlier, if you do that, it's not a matter of if you're going to find success, it's just when. And if you strengthen, picture the umbrella here, if you strengthen your mindset and your attitude every single day, over time, all of the stuff that brings everybody the standard typical overwhelm when they're either thinking about starting a business or actually starting a business, all the techie stuff that people normally put first, the hashtags, the times to post, the editing, all the, integrating autoresponders and things and all that other stuff, all the stuff that they worry about. If you work on your mindset and your attitude every day, all that stuff over time fades away, because you keep strengthening this, you invest into this. And the more you strengthen your mindset and your attitude and your outlook on things, like, you know what? I can listen, hey, if this person can figure this out, I can figure this out. And that was the attitude that I had when I first got started. Is the more I invested in myself, all of the challenging stuff that I thought was a challenge wasn't really a challenge, because I had this, the information on demand. And I knew that if other people could figure it out, I could figure it out too. So that is, if you've struggled, if you're struggling, if you want to have that breakthrough, if you want to get to that point of success and achieve those goals, whatever they are for you, work harder on yourself than you do on your business. Invest into your mindset and attitude every single day, and all the problems and challenges and everything else that you face over time. I'm not saying it's going to be overnight, but over time will start to fade away, and you'll start to figure those things out easier because your mindset and your attitude is getting stronger every day.
Well, Daniel, I got to say, you dropping more than a mountain full of knowledge here, and I got to say that those of you who are watching this right now, I know you want to know what Daniel's doing, and how can I partner with Daniel, because this is what I've been looking for. Well, you know what to do to get that information, and I got to say one thing about Daniel. He's a team player. He gathers up strong teams, and you want to be with a winning team. Think about it like this: you're in the Super Bowl, or you're having a big game, and you want to know if all your players on your team are going to be coming at 100%. But before they got there, they made a decision that they were going to be part of the team. And Daniel, I want to bring you back. Before we leave, though, I want you to give a suggestion to these people,
Mm-hmm.
and they already know what to do when they want to get more information about what we're talking about. And I got to say, Daniel, he's open. He's an open book. As you know, he's a team player, and he cares about people. Number one, you want somebody to care about you. not them, but you. Okay, so Daniel, why don't you give them a parting word on about what we were just talking about the team, what they need to be connected to a strong team. Let's talk about that for about a couple of minutes, then we're going to conclude the call.
The key thing about being part of a team is you just got to stay connected. You got to stay plugged in. And, again, like some of the stories from before, I've seen it over the years where, it's everything seems hopeful and easy in the beginning. And then once most people get started, they realize that, oh crap, I actually have to put some work, some effort into this. I have to try, I have to figure things out that I have not done before. And that's where, again, circling back to the top of the umbrella, it can get very overwhelming in the beginning. And, they call it info overwhelm, right? Or buyer's remorse. People get started, they get excited, they see a video, they jump in, they plug in, they get started. And then they're like, oh, geez, this is either harder or more complicated, or this wasn't what I thought it was. And it's like learning a new job. You got to ask yourself this: whatever job you have, I don't care if you're a cashier at a supermarket, you're a nurse, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, whatever it is, you have to ask yourself, whatever job you have, your very first day on the job, day one, could be your first day of orientation. It could be your first day, you're working retail, you're out on the sales floor, you don't know where all the aisles are and where every product is and all that other stuff. You haven't rang the register yet, whatever it is. Your very first day on the job, did you know every aspect of your job on your very first day? That's a very obvious no. I mean, no one would ever know every single aspect of their job their very first day on the job. Having an online business, having a successful home-based business is the same exact thing. You're starting something that is brand new. So as long as you have the same approach of when you started your job, you go through an orientation, you slowly start to figure things out. And the more you start to figure things out, the more comfortable you get. The longer you're there, the easier job, those tasks, those daily tasks of responsibilities that you have at your job, the longer you're there, the easier they become, the less challenging they become. And it's the same thing with your online business. And the number one thing that helps with that, of the digestion, the consumption of all that brand new material and training and education, is working on this harder than you work on the actual business itself. Because when you work on this, your mindset and your attitude, that figuring all that stuff out becomes that much easier. And from a team and a community standpoint, staying plugged into the team is critical. Whether there be, live trainings, Zooms, webinars, um, in-person meetings, whatever it is, stay plugged in and stay up to date. And lastly, one of the most important things here is, if you treat your online business, your home-based business, whatever you want to call it, your digital business, if you treat that like a job, meaning that you show up to it every single day, you take notes, you invest the time into it, you schedule it, you show up for that scheduled time, you put things on a calendar, you write them out, you show up certain days of the week. You can work this all around. That's the beauty of a home-based business. You could work it all around your schedule. If you're a busy mom, a dad, you have family, you have, lots of people living in your house, whatever it is, you can create a schedule and show up to it every day. And if you do that, and if you show up to it every day and you treat it like a job and you invest into yourself harder than you do your business, all of that, it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And yes, it is as simple as that. So don't let it overwhelm you with all this techie stuff. Keep it stupid simple. Focus on working on yourself, and everything else will work itself out.
Well, Daniel, listen, I wish we can stay on a little bit longer, but we are going to bring you back sooner than later, okay? Because I know there's going to be a lot of those people that basically heard you before and they're watching you and they want to know, well, Daniel, what are you doing? Okay, and we're here to help you guys. You can always find us. we have that information we can provide you. And I got to say that I picked up some things myself because I was taking notes on some of the things he was saying. You know, you got to be a student at all times. I don't care how great you are or what you have done. You always need to be a student, period. Because some things you need to basically be open to learn. Well, Daniel, I'm gonna go ahead and close the call, and I gotta thank you, my friend, for giving that knowledge.
Always,
But knowledge is nothing if you don't apply it. You know, that's what I would say. You
100%.
got to apply it. And for those of you who are listening to me right now, you know how to get a hold of us, and we'll put you in contact of what Daniel is doing. And if you want to be part of that team, guess what? We'll give you that opportunity to do that. All right. So, Daniel, thank you once again for showing up for Home Based Business Review and giving that knowledge of information to those who wanted, needed it. Okay. And now they're going to apply it.
Sounds
And
good.
we're gonna connect you once again with the audience. And for right now, for everybody, thank you for coming, Daniel. And we're gonna conclude the call. Bye for now.
Later.